tour, but he wanted to show me an ancient mosque, beautiful, like a Taj Mahal. So we drove in the circular driveway in front of the building, and there was a sign there in French and I think Arabic. So all of a sudden, 3 gendarmes stopped the car, got a hold of Steve through the window, and wanted to arrest us and throw us in jail, because apparently the sign said, "Don't enter this way." So Steve is kind of, what does this guy want to ride or what? So
hey guys, quiet.
Steve was negotiating a settlement with this gendarme. Carol's in the back seat, "Give him more money, Steve." And then I didn't know what he was saying. I said, "Oh, monsieur, j'ai tristesse, very sorry." "Oh, you do speak French. You should have seen the sign." Anyway, and again, Carol, "More money, Steve." Anyway, we escaped with our lives.
Good.
That was Steve, taking a gamble everywhere. Proud to know.
One of the best things that ever happened to me is Steve. We've all heard stories, great stories of Steve. We all looked at his obituary, saw everything that he achieved and occurred and took place. Difficult to imagine. One of the things that always struck me about Steve was his modesty. You'd meet Steve, you'd never realize he was so accomplished, he was so quiet, self-effacing with it, such a mark of a great man. Now, as I met him when I was relatively young, like so many of you. I share a story of being slightly hurt and wounded when I arrived on Steve's doorstep. And I've been nourished by Steve, encouraged by Steve. He's been a great source of help, advice, just common sense. And this is something that I know I've shared with other people that have done business with Steve. I was fortunate enough, after a few years, we were based across the street. I'd opened up a store at his suggestion, and we put the museum in there. He suggested I got into real estate. I thought, that sounds interesting. He didn't tell me what sort of details. He didn't tell me we were going to buy this building, 30,000 square foot of property, and sell it. So I was like, I'd sold a house before in my life. That was his. But it was Steve, and I didn't worry. It was you were secure with Steve. You had faith, confidence in Steve, and just a wonderful man. And I know tonight he would be deeply appreciative of all of you here at his museum. This museum reflects Steve at his best. Preciseness, the way it's put together. It's a great testament to Steve, and it's one that's going to be continuing. It's one that's going to be carrying on. The family and myself are all trustees. We intend to see the museum going forward. Thanks to Steve's generosity, thanks to his creativity. We've had approaches from other people about possible wing at another museum somewhere, expanding upstairs. They all want this wonderful collection. We can't have it. It's here. Evanston's its home. We will build it and grow it. And before I get carried away, I just want to say thank you personally for all of you coming today and for sharing. It's been quite wonderful. Yes, it was. Thank you very much.
And Dad started swimming again when he had to drive me. Uh-oh. This is out of order.
Out of order.
Anyway, it's to morning practices at Evanston. I'm afraid that I'm one of those people who doesn't talk well out of work. So, okay, sorry.
She'll find it. I'll go through the sheets for you. I'm good at
Number, but
numbers.
I can't find the numbers. Okay.
Speak from your heart.
Anyway.
Pick up that page. That might be it.
I'll just skip it. All right. So anyway, it was when he started swimming again, when he had to drive me to the 6:30 a.m. morning practices at Evanston High School, and Dobby Burton was nice enough to let him get in the pool with the girls and swim, and that's what started up his swimming career again.
Yeah.
And he has always been, it was so fun. We did master swimming for 20 years, and after every practice, we go out and we'd have drinks and dinner, and we get home at 10:30 or 11, but after you're swimming a big practice, you can't go to bed anyway. So it was like, we went out, we had fun, we went with teammates, we went by ourselves, and it's just some of the most fun times I can ever remember with my dad.
What would he say to you?
When we went out, well, some of the times he would say to me, stop playing with your hair. Anyway, you're right, because I lost page 4. So Mary Jo was helping me yesterday. what he would say to me, he always had some kind of swimming tip, and one of the ones I'll remember the most is, when you're in a sprint, never breathe.
Oh.
And if you have to breathe, you sneak it under your armpit. So it's not like a breath ever happened. So I took that advice very well, and I used to be able to do 2 breaths, and I would sneak them in, and no one even knew I took them.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Now, my dad and I also shared our passion for skiing and mountains, a passion I certainly would not have developed as a Midwesterner if my dad hadn't nourished it. And Vail was our special place. And one day, in the middle of ski school, my dad had to come pick me up because I refused to ski down at Black Diamond.
I have a question. Were you scared?
I was super scared.
Don't be scared because I can help you ski. Just
Oh, thank you, Margaret. I would love that. So when he came to get me, I was thrilled. We got off the lift, he skied down, he stopped at the top of giant steps. The very same Black Diamond I refused to go down just an hour earlier. He was not going to let me get out of it. So this time he made me go first, and I cried the whole way down, like, I can't do it, I can't do it, don't do this to me. And we got to the bottom, and he's like, see, I told you you could do it.
Yep.
And it was just a very powerful lesson to me that, like, if you're scared and you know you can do it, you just have to try, and you just have to do it, and you will. So I overcame my fears because my dad really taught me to do that. So anytime I'm scared now, I go for it. Right. Just as he taught me. So this past winter, my dad was not able to make it, the family ski trip, since he had just been diagnosed with his metastasized bone cancer in his spine. And after we came back from that trip, he was in the hospital, and he said to me, I'm glad you're getting your kids into skiing, because, you know, I tried to do that for you. I'm like, of course I know that. I watched you all the time. I was like a young kid, and I watched him with 3 pairs of skis on his back, you know, lugging everything over, and just like, and so I thought, oh my God, even when I was 10 years old, I was like, this man, I do not know how he's doing this. And I started doing it for my own kids, and I realized it's a ton of work. But I said to him, I'm gonna do this for you. You made me into an accomplished skier, and I'm gonna make my kids into accomplished skiers. And and they're pretty good already, so I think it's gonna happen. And I'm really glad I got to tell him that. And we haven't been to Vail in a few years, but I'll always remember my dad when I go back. Because one of his favorite runs was called Riva Ridge. It's a 4-mile-long run with black and blue sections and lots of curves and bumps. Steepest section called Tourist Trap. And on many a day, he would say to me, should we do top to bottom Riva Ridge? And we'd be like, yes, let's go. And towards the end of the run, there was this fork in the trees, and I remember him saying to me every time, I'm like, Dad, which way should we go when we get to the end? And he would, instead of answering me, he would say, in the words of Robert Frost, like, he would quote, he's like, 2 roads diverge in a wood, and I would take the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
Good job.
With an orchestra behind them.
Yes.
I told Sarah Shastak what was planned, and she said, oh, that will be beautiful.
Yes.
And I said, not beautiful, but loving.
Okay.
This is called Dear Old Dartmouth, and it's the alma mater.
Stand.
Guys ready?
Yep.
1, 2, ready, go.
Dear old Dartmouth, give a rouse for the college on the hill, for the lone pine above her, and the loyal ones who love her. Give a rouse with a will, for the sons of old Dartmouth, for the daughters of Dartmouth, though round the girdled earth they roam, her spell on them remains. They have the still north in their hearts, the hill winds in their veins, and the granite of New Hampshire in their muscles and their brains, and the granite of New Hampshire in their muscles and their brains. Dear old Dartmouth set a watch, lest the old traditions fail. Stand as sister stands by brother, dare a deed for the old mother. We the world from